17th. Governor Brian Kemp says with more people getting the shot and, of course, with more shipments coming in, it finally, thank goodness, looks like there's an end in sight.
This is a good time to remind people, just because we're doing a lot at our vaccine sites, we can't let our guard down. We got to keep doing this for another month or two and get closer to true herd immunity. But I just feel like we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel because of the amount of people that have now gotten the vaccine. The amount of the supply continues to increase week over week.
And also breaking in the last hour, Aiken County Schools just laying out their plan to get school employees vaccinated.
They're partnering with Rural Health Services to get together 6 vaccination sites coming up in March.
They start next Friday. That'll be the 12th. They run through the 30th. There will be 6 locations at the following high schools: Midland Valley, Silver Bluff, Aiken, North Augusta, Wagner, Sally, and Ridge Spring, Monetta. All clinics are from 9 until 4. The dates are rolling there across your screen.
This vaccination plan is the 2-dose Moderna, so employees will have to come back for a second dose. Starting Monday, there will be a link on the district's website for employees to sign up for the vaccine if they choose to get it. You'll also get that link in an email. Of course, we are posting all of this online as well. We know it's a lot of information coming at you, but of course, some good information for so many of you waiting on this vaccine.
In South Carolina, starting Monday, more than half the state will be eligible to sign up for a COVID vaccine.
It is a lot more people. That's as it transitions to phase 1B of its rollout, expanding it to those 55 and up, frontline workers, and people who have high-risk medical conditions.
As millions more become eligible, health officials say they're worried others will get overlooked. But as News 12's Brady Trapnell tells us, our local counties are stepping up at just the right time.
Aiken Regional is trying to vaccinate nearly 4,000 people over today and tomorrow. It started as appointment only, but now they've opened it up to walk-ins. But the clinic started out slow this morning. More started to come throughout the day, but not anywhere near what was expected. Since the vaccines were approved, Aiken Regional has administered nearly 5,200 vaccines. If all their doses are used tomorrow, that number would jump to about 9,000. Aiken Regional says volunteers are helping keep their clinics going, and they will need more help as Phase 1B begins. Eric Mulbauer with the Medical Center says those 65 and older need to get their shot now.
The hardest thing for us was securing vaccine. We've got an outstanding group of volunteers in our community that have stepped up to the plate to help us. Our hope is that more and more people in the rural parts will have that awareness.
And big changes on Monday here in South Carolina. More than half of the state will be eligible for vaccination, potentially leaving some in Phase 1A behind. There is some concern about that, and we'll have more ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Reporting in Aiken, Brady Trapnell on your side.
So if you're included in Phase 1A in South Carolina and want to get the vaccine this week, there are a couple of clinics happening tomorrow. University Hospital holding one at Millbrook Baptist Church on South Aiken Boulevard. Also a clinic in Barnwell for people who live there or in that immediate area. That will be at the Clemson Extension office off Dunbarton Boulevard.
On the Georgia side, there's a vaccine clinic on Friday for those eligible and those who live in Harrisburg. It'll be at the Family Healthcare Center on Crawford Avenue. It will be a first-come, first-served clinic. Also Friday, AU Health is holding a second-dose clinic for the Moderna vaccine. That's at the old Stein Mart on Washington Road. For times, links, and even more details for clinics happening on both sides of our river, we've done the homework. Head to our website, WRDW.com, and our WRDW app. Just search the word clinic.
We have much more news ahead, but let's have a lot. Riley, the search is on in Richmond County for a missing Augusta man, and the sheriff's office is asking for your help finding him this evening. Going to show you 57-year-old Fred McGahee. Deputies say he was last seen on the 4600 block of Ederly Road around 12:30 yesterday afternoon. We're told McGahee suffers from schizophrenia. He could be in danger. If you've seen him or know where he might be, call the sheriff's office at the number here, 706-821-1080.
Richmond County officials are also working to track down this aggravated assault suspect. Officials say 19-year-old Jakorian Johnson is wanted for an incident that happened Monday at the River Creek Apartments on Central West Parkway. He is considered armed and dangerous. The same number to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office right there on your screen. Again, take a good look. You're asked to call if you've got any information.
In Columbia County, 34-year-old Tracy Martin wanted on multiple charges, including home invasion, kidnapping, aggravated assault. Authorities say they have video evidence of him kicking down his ex-girlfriend's door, dragging her down some stairs by her hair and her shirt. All this happening yesterday near the Canterbury Farms neighborhood outside Grovetown. If you know where Martin might be, contact the Columbia County Sheriff's Office.
First at 5, we're hearing from investigators after a Georgia mother allegedly shot and killed her son. It happened Monday in Morgan County, just an hour east of Atlanta. Officials charging 36-year-old Allison Jones with killing her 7-year-old son, Maddox. They say she's also being charged with shooting at her husband. The county's chief deputy says they've talked to both parents, trying to figure out what led to the shooting.
We had no prior calls to service here that we could tell domestic related, but the information we were provided right now between the husband and the wife, that's what we're vetting through to see if the crime scene matches their statements.
The GBI says next it will conduct an autopsy and ballistics test. Meanwhile, Jones remains in custody. She is scheduled for a preliminary Superior Court hearing next month.
Also first at 5, new developments in the investigation into Tiger Woods' car crash in California. We're learning the LA County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant this week to get the data from that black box inside the car. That can reveal details like how fast he was going, how he applied the brakes. But to get the warrant, officials had to establish probable cause that a crime had been committed. But investigators say they do not consider this any kind of criminal investigation, but just a routine part of how they're going to figure out exactly what happened out there. As for Tiger, he's recovering today in an LA hospital.
Georgia House Bill 531 making waves across the state, and now NBA star LeBron James is getting involved. His voter rights organization, More Than a Vote, is teaming up with the NBA and the Georgia NAACP to raise awareness about the bill. And with this year's All-Star game in Atlanta, the group say this is their opportunity. The voting bill passed Monday in the Georgia House. It would create tighter restrictions on voting, like adding ID requirements for absentee ballots, limiting absentee drop boxes, and requiring drop boxes to be kept indoors.
As Congress debates the future relief bill by the end of this week, and we will keep tracking that for you.
A lot of challenges, so many, have been thrown our way in the past year, and many families are struggling to find quality education and child care, something that they've been dealing with even before the pandemic.
News 12's Wrdw shows us what a local school is doing to help families right here in Augusta.
But how would I say to a mother, single mom, maybe with 2 to 4 children, who's already paddling pretty hard to do what she can?
Linda Tucciaroni is the director of Heritage Academy, and she says children who come from low-income families and grow up in low-opportunity neighborhoods often have high stress.
But children who may still be coming from low-income families but are in high-opportunity neighborhoods, their stress is reduced.
She says that's why they're opening a new learning academy for ages 6 weeks to 4 years old.
We're about to change the opportunity of this neighborhood.
She says soon, this construction site will serve as a place filled with opportunities for families, regardless of their income.
We've had parents across the street who lost their job during COVID. We want to work with you. We have to consider all people and all levels of income and social status.
She says it's important to intervene early to increase literacy, but there aren't many high-quality options for childcare offered in their community.
We're going to take your Georgia subsidized childcare voucher, but where the gap exists between that, what CAPS will pay and what it actually costs, we're going to provide additional assistance to you.
She says the goal is to bridge the gap and work with each family individually.
People care about their children. They're looking to build their future, but the needs of the present are pressing.
Working to be a bridge, not a barrier.
Our doors open. Let's talk.
Wrdw on your side.
Beautiful expansion there at Heritage Academy. That site, by the way, will open in August. They say they will only have 120 slots open. So far, they've already received about 10 applications.
We are expecting a fairly nice spring day on Thursday, but then we are going to go on a little bit of a cool streak. Take a look at that full forecast for you coming up.
Plus, a congressional push to recognize an inspirational group of World War II veterans. More on the women known as the 688. Next.
You have wall crack?
Dad.
It's Women's History Month, and today we're taking a look at an inspirational group of women. The 688 Battalion was in charge of morale during World War II.
Very important work they were doing. Our D.C. Bureau reporter, Kristen Casper, looks at the congressional push to recognize these soldiers.
There's a storied legacy of military service in Kelly Evans' family, generations pioneered by her great-great-aunt Edna Baskin.
We all looked up to her. She was very courageous.
Baskin was a member of the 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion, the only all-black, all-female unit overseas during World War II. With the slogan, "No mail, low morale," they were sent to sort the massive backlog of mail in the European theater. Reports indicate the women were confronted with warehouses stacked to the ceilings, Christmas packages, love letters, in some cases, final correspondence between loved ones lost. The women swiftly completed their mission in England and in France, but in many cases, instead of appreciation, they faced racism, sexism, and segregation.
They knew what they were escaping and they knew what they were coming back to, but they still wanted to serve for their country.
Years later, the 6888 has been celebrated through exhibits, museums, even recognized here at the National Postal Museum in Washington, D.C. But there's a continuing call in Congress for more.
I've introduced legislation to provide them with a Congressional Gold Medal, and I want these women to know how much they are appreciated by our citizens of our country today.
With bipartisan support, Senator Jerry Moran says his hope is to pay their gift of morale forward to their families and to the generations of female pioneers to come.
It just means so much to us. If this happens, it's a game changer for Black women everywhere.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Kristen Casper.
How great is that they're finally, hopefully, getting some of that well-deserved, much-deserved appreciation.
And a critical role in the war, getting those letters back and forth between families and their soldiers serving overseas, that was the lifeline.
And it sounds like they were given quite the overwhelming task with letters being stacked up to the ceiling, but they did it way faster than anyone thought.
Huge work.
Yeah.
This bipartisan measure, by the way, has passed in the U.S. Senate already unanimously. Now it's headed for a vote in the House, and we will keep tracking that. Let's have a look outside. Our camera over.
Outdoor plans this weekend.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Riley. Happening tomorrow, a community cleanup for one of Augusta's waterways. The Savannah Riverkeeper and Veterans for Clean Water are teaming up to pick up trash near the Augusta Tech campus. The Riverkeeper says the lake on that property is badly impacted with litter. You can see it for yourself right there on your screen. If you want to help out, they are still looking for volunteers. You can sign up online. We've got that link for you to do so on our website and the WRDW app. Also tomorrow, Golden Harvest is holding a mobile market for Georgians in need of some fresh food. It'll be from noon to 2 at the Macedonia Church of Grovetown. Now, this is a no-contact drive-through distribution, so volunteers want to remind you, make sure you empty your truck before going so they can put the food in the car for you.
So to come here, are you hanging on to a travel voucher from a vacation you had to put on hold last year? Time might be running out to use that, and we're on your side making sure your money doesn't go to waste.
You're craving crystals now. Get it.
If you had to put your vacation on hold last year because of the pandemic, you're going to want to hear this. A lot of Americans are hanging on to travel vouchers or credits that could expire.
Yeah, and you don't want to lose your money here. Today, we're on your side making sure those funds don't go to waste. Liz McLaughlin shows us ways to use that credit and, hey, maybe even get a deal out of it.
A year after the pandemic upended the travel industry and canceled flights, Americans with vouchers could be racing the clock. But the first step is to read the fine print on that expiration date.
Because on some vouchers, it might refer to the date when you have to make a booking by, but on other vouchers, it might refer to the date when you have to travel by.
Scott Keys of Scott's Cheap Flights, a discount travel site, says now is the time to read up on the stipulations of that travel credit and perhaps give customer service a call.
The airlines have actually been quite flexible with extending your vouchers, but only for people who ask to have them extended.
Demand is still recovering, so consumers can take advantage of low prices now, even if you plan to travel later this year.
As we get closer to summer months, vaccinations become higher and cases hopefully drop, we can expect prices to increase.
And if you do need to change it, many airlines are still waiving change fees for flights booked by the end of the month.
What that does for travelers, obviously, is lets you make your travel plans in pencil rather than pen.
While you'll have to pay the difference if the fare rises, you'll be able to change dates without an extra fee, and you won't lose the value of your voucher. A potential payoff for a pandemic-delayed vacation. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Okay, so here's another idea. If you decide to change your booking down the road and the flight is actually cheaper in price, so be sure to ask your airline for a travel credit for the difference. Did you know you can do that?
Did not know that, but it's worth a look. You don't want to have those things expire on you, no matter what. Don't let it expire.
No, and while you're at it, look at gift cards too, because some of those tend to expire.
And you can fix it with a phone call. So good luck if you have to do that.